Rivers. They are the lifeblood of our planet, sustaining ecosystems and human civilizations alike. These flowing waters are much more than just scenic elements. They are arteries that carry life-giving water across continents. From the towering mountains to the vast oceans, rivers play an indispensable role in the intricate tapestry of life on Earth. For millennia, humans have settled near rivers, recognizing their importance as a source of fresh water, food, and transportation. The Nile, the Ganges, the Yellow River. These and countless other rivers have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Yet rivers are not merely passive bystanders in the story of life on Earth. They are dynamic systems, constantly shaping and reshaping the landscapes they flow through. Their currents carve through rock, eroding mountains and carrying sediments downstream to create fertile plains and deltas. The very essence of a river lies in its constant motion, a ceaseless journey from its source to the sea. This dynamic flow is not merely a physical phenomenon, it is a driving force that shapes ecosystems, transports nutrients, and supports an astonishing diversity of life. From the tiniest aquatic insects to the largest river dolphins, a myriad of creatures depend on rivers for their survival. Rivers are the lifeblood of our planet, a vital force that sustains ecosystems and human civilizations alike. These flowing waters are much more than just scenic elements of our landscapes. They are arteries that carry life-giving water across continents, shaping the very terrain they traverse. Imagine Earth as a living being, its continents and oceans forming its skin. Rivers, in this analogy, would be the arteries and veins coursing through its body, carrying vital nutrients and sustaining its very existence. This analogy underscores the crucial role rivers play in the global ecosystem. They are the arteries of our planet, connecting distant ecosystems, transporting nutrients, and supporting a web of life that spans continents. The journey of a river often begins high in the mountains, where snowmelt or rainfall gathers in small streams and rivulets. These trickle down slopes, gradually gaining volume and momentum as they merge with other streams, forming larger and larger tributaries that eventually converge into the main channel of the river. This intricate network of tributaries acts like a vast plumbing system, collecting water from a wide area and funneling it towards the sea. As the river flows, it interacts with the surrounding landscape, continuously shaping and being shaped by the environment it traverses. The force of the current erodes riverbanks, carving out canyons and valleys, while depositing sediments downstream to form floodplains, sandbars, and deltas. This constant interplay between erosion and deposition is a testament to the dynamic nature of rivers and their profound influence on the Earth's surface. The water that flows through a river is not just a simple liquid. It is a complex cocktail of dissolved minerals, organic matter, and sediments, all carried along on its journey to the sea. This constant transport of materials is essential for maintaining the health and productivity of ecosystems. Nutrients carried by rivers fertilize floodplains, supporting lush vegetation that in turn provides food and shelter for a wide array of animals. Rivers are dynamic ecosystems, teeming with life and supporting a delicate balance within their waters and along their banks. From headwaters to mouth, each section offers unique ecological niches. Salmon navigate turbulent waters while insects cling to rocks. As rivers widen and slow, habitats diversify, supporting more species. Lush riparian forests provide shade and nutrients, vital for water quality. Rivers are crucial for surrounding ecosystems, providing water and nutrients. Every mighty river, every majestic waterway begins its journey as a humble trickle, a slender thread of water emerging from the heart of nature. High in the mountains, where snow-capped peaks pierce the sky, melting snow and ice feed countless tiny streams, the very genesis of a river's life. These nascent waterways, often no wider than a handspan, cascade down rocky slopes, their clear, cold waters gathering momentum as they go. As these rivulets descend, they converge, merging into larger streams, their combined flow carving ever deeper channels into the mountainside. Each tributary, some a mere trickle, others already roaring torrents, adds its unique character to the growing river. Some carry the cold, clear meltwater from glaciers, while others bring the rich, earthy runoff from forests and meadows. The journey from mountain spring to mighty river is a testament to the relentless power of water and the inexorable pull of gravity. Over time, these forces shape the landscape, carving canyons, shaping valleys, and carrying vast quantities of sediment downstream. Every bend in the river, every waterfall and rapid tells a story of erosion and deposition, a testament to the river's role as both sculptor and architect of its surroundings. As the river descends from the highlands, its character begins to change. The gradient lessens, the flow becomes less turbulent, and the river begins to meander across the landscape. Its once narrow channel widens, its banks no longer confined by steep slopes, and it begins to deposit the sediments it has carried from the mountains, creating fertile floodplains and shaping the landscape in new and ever-changing ways. The journey of a river is a meandering path, shaped by the land and nature's forces. From mountains to plains, a river's journey showcases our planet's interconnected ecosystems. In the upper reaches, the river carves through rock, creating rapids and gorges. Specialized plants and animals thrive in this challenging environment. As the river descends, it meanders, creating fertile floodplains. These floodplains support diverse ecosystems rich in life. Fish, amphibians, and invertebrates thrive in the river's slower waters. The river's flow is a dynamic pulse, reflecting seasons and weather. From torrential floods to gentle summer flows, it shapes ecosystems and influences lives. Spring rains swell the river, while summer diminishes its flow. In tropical regions, wet and dry seasons drive the river's pulse, impacting life cycles and human settlement. Rivers are arteries of life, transporting vital nutrients, connecting ecosystems, and supporting diverse plant and animal life. From headwaters to mouth, rivers sustain life within and along their banks. Rivers transport minerals and nutrients, enriching aquatic life. Phytoplankton thrive, converting sunlight into energy, feeding zooplankton, insects, and fish. These in turn are preyed upon by larger fish, birds, and mammals. Fish like salmon and sturgeon rely on rivers for epic migrations. Riverbanks teem with life. Riparian forests stabilize banks, provide shade, and enrich water. These forests are home to diverse birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. The river's bounty extends beyond its banks. Floodplains are fertile, supporting agriculture and wildlife. Rivers provide drinking water, irrigation, and transportation routes. As a river flows towards the sea, its journey nears its end. This meeting of fresh water and salt water gives birth to one of nature's most fertile landforms, the delta. Sediments carried by the river settle as the flow slows, forming a fan-shaped area. Deltas are dynamic, constantly shaped by the river, sea, and nature. Each delta is unique, a fingerprint of the river and forces shaping it. The formation of a delta is a fascinating interplay of physics and geology. As the river approaches the sea, its velocity decreases, causing sediment to settle. Heavier particles settle near the river's mouth, while lighter ones settle further downstream. This creates a gradient of sediment size within the delta. The river often branches into distributaries, forming a fan-shaped pattern. Over time, these deposits build up, creating the delta. The delta is constantly shaped by ocean currents, tides, and waves. Floods bring fresh sediment and nutrients, rejuvenating the ecosystem. The type of sediment influences the delta's characteristics. Sandy deltas have well-defined distributaries and beaches. Silt and clay-rich deltas have expansive mudflats and marshes. The Mississippi Delta is known for its vast wetlands and bayous. Deltas are vibrant ecosystems, teeming with life and supporting a remarkable diversity of plants and animals. The unique mix of fresh water, salt water, and rich sediments creates diverse habitats. Imagine wading through a delta wetland, your boots sinking into the soft, muddy ground. The air is alive with birdsong, rustling reeds, and splashing fish. Look closer, and you'll discover a hidden world teeming with life. Since the dawn of civilization, humans have recognized the value of deltas, drawn to their fertile soils, abundant water resources, and access to both rivers and oceans. Deltas have served as cradles of agriculture, centers of trade, and gateways for exploration and cultural exchange. The rich alluvial soils deposited by rivers make deltas some of the most fertile agricultural lands on Earth. For millennia, farmers have cultivated these lands, growing crops like rice, wheat, cotton, and sugarcane, feeding growing populations and shaping the course of human history. The Nile Delta, for example, was the breadbasket of ancient Egypt, its fertile land supporting a thriving civilization for thousands of years. Deltas also provide access to abundant freshwater resources, essential for drinking, irrigation, and transportation. Rivers, with their intricate networks of distributaries, offer natural waterways for navigation, connecting communities within the delta and providing access to the sea for trade and exploration. The Mekong Delta, one of the most densely populated regions on Earth, relies heavily on its intricate network of canals and waterways for transportation, agriculture, and fishing. The sheltered waters of deltas, protected from the full force of the ocean, provide ideal locations for ports and harbors. Cities like New Orleans, Shanghai, and Rotterdam, all situated on deltas, have flourished as centers of commerce, their economies intricately linked to the rivers that created them and the oceans they connect to. Across the globe, rivers snake their way across continents, carving through mountains, meandering across plains, and finally reaching the sea, where they deposit their load of sediments to form deltas. These rivers are not just geographical features, they are the lifeblood of our planet, sustaining ecosystems, shaping civilizations, and connecting us to the natural world. Some rivers are giants, their sheer scale and power awe-inspiring. The Amazon, for example, carries more water than any other river on Earth. Its flow so vast that it influences ocean currents and weather patterns thousands of miles away. The Nile, the longest river in the world, flows for over 4,000 miles, its waters sustaining life in one of the driest regions on Earth. Others, though smaller in scale, are no less significant. The Mississippi, with its intricate network of tributaries, drains a vast swathe of the North American continent, its waters carrying the history and culture of a nation. The Ganges and Brahmaputra, revered as sacred rivers in Hinduism, support one of the most densely populated regions on Earth, their waters essential for agriculture, transportation, and spiritual sustenance. Each river system has its own unique story to tell, a narrative woven through the landscapes it traverses, the life it supports, and the human civilizations it has nurtured. Let us embark on a journey to explore some of these remarkable rivers and their deltas, to understand their significance, and to appreciate the vital role they play in the tapestry of life on Earth. Deep in the heart of South America flows a river like no other, a force of nature so powerful, so vast, that it defies easy description. This is the Amazon, a river that embodies the very essence of wildness, its waters teeming with life, its basin a tapestry of rainforests, wetlands, and savannas. Imagine standing on the banks of the Amazon, the air thick with humidity, the sounds of the rainforest a constant hum around you. The river itself is a sight to behold, a seemingly endless expanse of muddy water, its surface broken by swirling eddies and the occasional flash of pink dolphins. The Amazon is born high in the Andes Mountains, fed by countless streams and tributaries that gather snowmelt and rainfall from a vast area. As it descends from the highlands, it gathers momentum, its flow increasing with every mile until it becomes a torrent of water, carrying more volume than any other river on Earth. The Amazon basin, the area drained by the river and its tributaries, is a world unto itself, home to the largest rainforest on Earth, a biodiversity hotspot teeming with life in its most diverse and astonishing forms. The rainforest canopy, a dense multi-layered tapestry of trees, vines, and epiphytes, is alive with the sounds of insects, birds, and monkeys, a symphony of life that continues day and night. The river itself is a vital artery, its waters a highway for fish, dolphins, and manatees, its banks a hunting ground for jaguars, caimans, and anacondas. Over 3,000 species of fish have been identified in the Amazon, more than any other river system on Earth, a testament to the river's ecological richness. The Amazon Delta, where the river finally meets the Atlantic Ocean, is a vast expanse of islands, channels, and mangroves, a dynamic landscape shaped by the interplay of fresh water and salt water. Here, the river's flow slows, depositing the sediments it has carried for thousands of miles, creating a fertile environment for a unique assemblage of plants and animals. The Nile lifeline of a desert civilization. The Nile River, a ribbon of green in a scorching desert, has been Egypt's lifeblood for centuries. Its annual floods brought life-giving water and fertile silt, allowing civilization to flourish. Imagine standing on its banks, the river a shimmering ribbon of blue against golden sand. The Nile flows over 4,000 miles, supporting diverse life and ancient civilizations. The Mississippi, a journey through the heart of America. Flowing southwards for over 2,300 miles, the Mississippi River is more than just a waterway. It's a cultural icon, a symbol of America's heartland, and a vital artery for commerce and transportation. From its humble beginnings as a small stream in Minnesota to its grand delta on the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi's journey embodies the spirit of a nation. Imagine yourself aboard a steamboat, its paddle wheel churning the muddy waters as you travel downstream, the sound of a banjo drifting across the deck. The Mississippi, its banks lined with cottonwood trees and willow oaks, unfolds before you, a constantly changing landscape reflecting the diversity of America itself. The river's upper reaches, where it meanders through forests and farmlands, are a haven for wildlife. White-tailed deer graze along its banks, while bald eagles soar overhead, their cries echoing across the water. Fish like catfish, bass, and paddlefish thrive in its waters, supporting a long tradition of recreational fishing. As the Mississippi flows southwards, it's joined by major tributaries like the Missouri and Ohio rivers, each contributing its own unique character and history to the mighty flow. The river becomes a bustling waterway, carrying barges laden with grain, coal, and other goods, a testament to its continued importance for commerce and transportation. The Mississippi Delta, where the river finally meets the Gulf of Mexico, is a vast and fertile region, its landscape shaped by the river's deposition of sediments over millennia. Here, the river's flow slows, creating a network of bayous, marshes, and wetlands, a haven for wildlife and a vital nursery for marine life. The Ganges and Brahmaputra, a confluence of cultures and ecology. The Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers flow from the Himalayas, sustaining one of the most densely populated regions on Earth. These rivers are sacred in Hinduism, believed to have purifying powers, with banks dotted with temples and ghats. Imagine standing on the ghats of Varanasi, the air thick with incense, the sound of chanting filling the air. As the sun rises, pilgrims immerse in the sacred waters, seeking spiritual renewal. The Ganges, originating from the Gangotri Glacier, is considered the most sacred river in Hinduism. Cities like Haridwar and Varanasi have flourished as centers of pilgrimage. The Brahmaputra, originating from the Tibetan plateau, is no less significant. Known as the Yarlung Sangpo in Tibet, it carves through the Himalayas, creating deep gorges. In Bangladesh, they form one of the largest delta systems in the world. The Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta is a land of incredible fertility and biodiversity. Home to the Sundarbans, the largest mangrove forest, it supports a rich array of wildlife. However, these rivers are among the most polluted in the world. Their waters carry sewage, industrial waste, and agricultural runoff. the delta is vulnerable to rising sea levels and climate change impacts. Troubled waters. Human impacts on river systems. Rivers are fragile ecosystems vulnerable to human activities. For centuries, we've viewed rivers as inexhaustible resources. Today, many rivers bear the scars of human exploitation. Imagine flying over a once pristine river, now choked with plastic. This is the reality for many rivers today. Section 2. The Dam Dilemma, Balancing Needs and Consequences. Dams harness rivers for electricity, flood control, and irrigation, yet they disrupt ecosystems and communities. Balancing human needs and river health is crucial. Dams alter flow, block fish migration, and trap sediment. Section 3. Pollution's Grip, a Toxic Legacy for Rivers and Deltas. Rivers are the lifeblood of our planet, but for too many, their flow carries a toxic legacy of human activity. Pollution from industrial discharges, agricultural runoff, and untreated sewage is poisoning rivers and deltas around the world, threatening human health, decimating aquatic life, and compromising the ecological integrity of these vital ecosystems. Imagine a child filling a bucket from a seemingly clear stream, unaware that the water they are about to drink is contaminated with invisible toxins. This is the reality for millions of people who depend on polluted rivers for their water supply, facing the constant threat of waterborne diseases and long-term health problems. Industrial pollution is a major culprit, releasing a cocktail of heavy metals, chemicals, and other toxins into rivers. Factories often discharge their wastewater directly into rivers, treating them as convenient dumping grounds for pollutants that can persist in the environment for decades, accumulating in the food chain and posing risks to both human and ecological health. Agriculture too contributes significantly to river pollution. Fertilizers and pesticides applied to crops to enhance yields often end up in rivers through runoff, leading to nutrient pollution and toxic algal blooms. These blooms can deplete oxygen in the water, creating dead zones where fish and other aquatic life cannot survive. Untreated sewage from cities and towns is another major source of pollution. In many parts of the world, sewage is discharged directly into rivers without adequate treatment, contaminating water supplies, spreading diseases, and overloading rivers with nutrients that disrupt the delicate balance of aquatic ecosystems. Section 4. A Changing Climate, a Flowing Crisis. Rivers on the Front Line. Climate change is altering the very lifeblood of our planet, its impacts on river systems already being felt worldwide. From shifting rainfall patterns and more frequent and severe floods to prolonged droughts and melting glaciers, climate change is disrupting the delicate balance of river ecosystems, threatening water resources, and posing risks to human communities that depend on them. Imagine a community that has relied on a river for generations, its annual floods bringing fertile silt to their fields, its water sustaining their crops and livestock. Now, the river's flow has become unpredictable, the floods more erratic and destructive, the droughts longer and more severe. This is the reality for many communities facing the impacts of climate change on river systems. Rising temperatures are altering precipitation patterns, leading to more intense rainfall in some regions and prolonged droughts in others. These shifts in rainfall can cause more frequent and severe floods, overwhelming riverbanks, inundating homes and farmlands, and contaminating water supplies. Glaciers, which act as natural reservoirs, releasing water gradually throughout the year, are melting at an alarming rate due to rising temperatures. This melting is initially increasing river flows, but as glaciers shrink, the water supply will diminish, leading to water shortages, particularly in regions heavily reliant on glacial meltwater for irrigation and drinking water. Sea level rise, driven by melting glaciers and the expansion of warmer ocean water, is pushing saltwater further inland, contaminating freshwater aquifers and threatening the delicate balance of delta ecosystems. Coastal communities and ecosystems are particularly vulnerable to these impacts, facing the risks of saltwater intrusion, erosion, and flooding. A call to action for our rivers. Rivers are the lifeblood of our planet, sustaining ecosystems and civilizations. Yet they are under threat from pollution and disruption. We must recognize their value and embrace sustainable practices. It is our collective responsibility to protect these precious resources.